Hi, I'm David. Today I'm going to be presenting on transpersonal theory with my classmates Kelsey, Seema, Antoinetta, and Megan. So I'm going to give a definition of transpersonal theory, and then I'm actually going to go into a brief overview. Then my classmates will take it more in detail from there. Transpersonal theory is actually a phenomenon of experience in which the sense of identity or self extends beyond the individual or personal and encompasses wider aspects of humanity or life, psyche, or cosmos. This might sound complicated, but basically it's just taken from two Greek words. Trans means beyond and personal means self, so it's anything that's beyond self. This can be anything like religion, meditation, out-of-body experience, any sort of higher human development. This was first introduced in the 60s, and some positive aspects of it include creativity, intuition, altruism, or a healthy mind, while negative aspects are psychosis. It is included in the DSM-4 as a category under religious and spiritual problems. Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, Professor and my fellow classmate. This is Saima Rashid. I'll be presenting transpersonal theory history today. In the middle of 20th century, when psychologists were busy with behavioralism, which is behavior are acquired through conditioning, and the responses to environment stimuli shape our actions, Maslow found the need for humanistic perspective, which is to view a person as a whole and from their own eyes. And because those two fields, behavioralism and Freudian psychology, were emerged from animal behavior and functioning. Maslow wanted to understand how human emotion and interpersonal behavior, like how we behave in this world with each other, and psychosomatic behavior, like which caused by aggravative mental factors like internal conflict and stress, and psychosocial problems like peer pressure, parental control, cultural and religious background, social and economic status, and interpersonal relationship affects and plays a critical role in our life. So transpersonal theory emerged in late 1960s. Some of the famous theories are Maslow, Wang, Foley, Wilber, and Washburn. For transpersonal theory, Wilber had synthesis data drawn from disciplines like psychology, anthropology, sociology, mythology, comparative religion through linguistic, philosophy, history, cosmetology, quantum relative physics, biology, evolutionary theory, and system theory. The work of these famous pioneers leads to human development, consciousness, and spirituality, which leads to transpersonal theory. I think this is a great scope for us social worker, because transpersonal theory is a culturally and universally accepted theory that could be accepted among the diverse population which we'll be dealing with.
The creator of transpersonal theory is Abraham Maslow. He created this theory as a way to better understand self-awareness. He used self-actualization and self-transcendence and his hierarchy of needs pyramid, which breaks down the 5 levels in the pyramid into three main focuses, which are self-fulfillment of needs, his psychological needs, and basic needs, things that you need in everyday life to keep going. His influences behind creating this theory was his view on psychology, neglecting a focus of normalcy and the full functioning human being. He felt that it lacked focus on a real human's needs and focuses or needs and functions. The theory he had the theory that humans are born with several instinctual beliefs that they need to keep going, that the self-esteem, actualization, belongingness, safety, those are all part of the needs that he felt that a human being needs to keep going. And he used these needs to collect data and concluded that there are groups of individuals that have these already born into them. They're born with them rather than they're learned. No, they're not learned behaviors. Rather, you're born with them, and as you get older, you kind of develop ways of not using them or feeling, or he felt like they were blocked for some reason. May that be you not have self-confidence, may that be you aren't aware, but his theory states that individuals that are self-aware have these self-actualization, self-esteem. They feel like they belong and they're loved and they have safety and they have the basic psychological needs to just keep going. And then along with Maslow, there were two theorists that also contributed towards the theory of transpersonal, which was Carl Jung and Roberto Asciagoli. I say that wrong every time. Asciagoli. Carl contributed through his collective unconsciousness. He created these levels of unconsciousness that one shares with other members of the human species, that are created from compromising latency memories from our ancestral and evolutionary past. So there are these different levels that you can see different phases of learning or forgetting, which can contribute towards why individuals lack the self-awareness, self-esteem area or self-esteem that Maslow was talking about. And then Roberto is considered by many to be the reason why we know more about the transpersonal theory. While Maslow created it, Roberto's work helped or allowed us to better understand the complex idea behind Maslow's original theory. And it allows you to consider why it was created originally and realize that it is very important for people to understand transpersonal theory and to be aware of its existence, because without it there would be a lot of people, or there would be less understanding of why people lack self-esteem, why people are unaware of certain things.
Hi, my name is Antoinette Bell, and I'm going to be explaining transpersonal theory applied in practice. So transpersonal theory applied in practice is believed to be when the clinician is helping the client to see past themselves. So just helping them to form an understanding of what's around them, what it is that makes them feel fulfilled. So be it work, being creative, just other things that helps a person feel fulfilled inside. So in order to apply that theory to practice is just pulling out what the client feels empowered by, what the client feels they need to make them happy. So say for instance, a client feels that prayer makes them feel fulfilled, makes them feel relaxed, make them feel that they have purpose. So just making that connection with the client on a spiritual level and building trust with them. So letting them know that you understand where they're coming from, keeping an open mind when they're discussing things with you, and just sharing your beliefs as well with them. So that's how it will be applied in practice for that part. So with applying transpersonal theory in practice, a lot of times there are ethical issues that can come up. So with what practitioners have to do is just to remain ethical and remember to not be judgmental, not to push your beliefs off on them, but just to accept their beliefs and basically help them to reach their full potentials with their beliefs in life. And this theory will help them to find satisfaction within, and it will help them to feel like they have purpose and they have meaning. And basically the therapist is just there to be a support, to be able to share with them that what it is that they are believing in is okay, and just knowing that they have to accept themselves in all forms. So accepting things that they want, that they don't agree with, that they hide from their self and other people, things that they're ashamed of, and just helping them to bring those things out, acknowledge that that is a part of them, and just continue to help them move forward.
In transpersonal therapy, there are no specific set of techniques for each therapist to follow. There are, however, several methods that are common in more of a general sense. Each therapist uses their own methods and can change, combine, or alter them depending on the client. A common method used is physical health, which includes having discussions about a healthy diet and taking care of physical needs. This can also mean incorporating things like yoga and bioenergetics. Another method is emotional catharsis, which means a release of emotions and the blocks of emotions. This could include things like breathwork and guided imagery. There are also meditation, imagery and dream work, disidentification, altered states of consciousness, and confession. Imagery and dream work can include therapy techniques like Gestalt dialogues. Altered states of consciousness can come in many forms, including the use of psychotropic drugs, chanting, and listening to music. An example of breathwork is the holotropic breathwork technique. This was created by Stanislav Grof and has been used and adapted by many people since. Included in this presentation is a YouTube video of a trailer for a film about a person named John Krause that is currently practicing this technique. The session starts with a contract of some sort that outlines the kind of contact the person would like to experience. Sometimes there is touching involved and massaging movements which are included in the contract. There are people who play the evocative music, and there are sitters, who watch the person breathing to make sure they are safe and take care of their needs, like getting them a glass of water. The person then enters a trance-like state and can have any number of experiences. The video shows people who have experiences that vary, but typically have some catharsis involved. The other example included is Gestalt. The definition of Gestalt is an organized whole that is perceived as more than the sum of its parts. There is a URL included on the slide that links to the blog of case studies done by a therapist who uses this therapy in his practice.